Yo, what's poppin' guys, Sizzle here, and this here is all the different particle effects I have selected on my day-to-day, just TF2 playing. You can see we have the Toon Particle pack, and we have the Skeleton Hotel pack as the main two, with the Altered Heal effects, and then this is also from Skeleton Hotel, it's just not included in the Skeleton Hotel pack here. We have Big Boom from the Toon Particle pack, Building Damage Bullet Tracers from Toon pack, we have Sign FX from Toon pack, Dirty Explode from there. We have the Bison Cowmangler, the Engineer, which I think is the Pomson, the Pyro, which I think is the Neon Annihilator, and then DXHRFX, no idea what that one is. That's all from the Skeleton Hotel set of mods. We have the Explosion effects from the Toon Particle pack, the first-person weapon effects from the Toon Particle pack, the Flamethrower from Toon Particle pack, Halloween, Harbor effects, Impact effects, and Item Demo. I don't even know what most of those do, but I have that from Skeleton Hotel. I have the Medigun Beam exclusively from the Altered Healing effects, because otherwise it gets way too distracting. This is just the one where it makes the beam track players better, and whenever I click on someone, I have like a little kind of icon over the head of the person I'm healing, which I think is just nice accessibility, to be honest. Then Muzzle Flash from the Particle pack, Nail Trails from Skeleton Hotel. I guess if Particle pack doesn't have it, but it basically looks like it's from the Toon Particle pack, to be honest. Pastime from the Particle pack. I might disable that in the future, I just have never played Pastime. I don't even know what this does. It's more just like every other particle that in that pack is nice. I figured Pastime is probably nice as well. Rank Up, I guess, from the Toon Particle pack. I didn't even know I had that enabled. Rocket Jump Trail, like I said, this is a Skeleton Hotel Rocket Jump Trail. Then Rocket Trail I actually have from Skeleton Hotel. I like it more than the Toon Particle pack, because the Toon one looks kind of out of place. It looks odd, especially it makes it hard to differentiate between the rockets. Whereas Skeleton Hotel's versions, it's easy to tell what rocket is kind of coming from what weapon. Like if it's a airstrike rocket, direct hit rocket, whatever, it makes it easier to tell with this, in my opinion. Scary Ghost, I guess, from there as well. Sparks from the Toon Particle pack. This is like saps and buildings getting destroyed. Speech Bubbles from Skeleton Hotel. I haven't actually seen this in game. I'm not sure what this changes. Sticky Bomb from Skeleton Hotel. Similar story. I'm not really sure what changes. I think it's the trail for the Sticky Bomb when it leads your weapon, in which case I'm fine with that. If it actually changes anything else, I'm probably going to disable it. And then Taunt FX from Toon Particle pack, because I think there's some taunts that have explosions and stuff, so this replaces that. But yeah, that's what I have there, and then the mod side of things, it's all this. Alright, so Pace the Sniper Overhaul, Kylo for almost everything else, the Enhanced Pistol pack models, the Control Points Illumination Fix, Better Revolver, Aertal Style Uber Charge, 2 different animated backgrounds, both made by Roy. I think he said he's working on one for a winter variant and summer variant, because those are still missing. Once those are a thing, I'm going to install those as well. And then the triple barrel lock and load, because it's just kind of essential. But yeah, that's everything I have installed through Cookies Preloader, or Cookies Preloader. I'm not sure how you're supposed to say it. I feel like Cookie's right, but it could just be Cookie. It depends on how you look at it. But yeah, let's hop in the game, see how it looks. I probably should have also mentioned this is combined with Sizzle HUD, of course, which has better kill icons included and loading screens included, and also combined with Master Config, of course, and my own autoexec for some other stuff on top of that. So, you have nice stuff like this where I can move around my guy, move him up and down, left and right, side to side, whatever. It's also worth noting if you're on Windows, where most of the fonts for the game aren't naturally installed on stuff like Linux or Mac. If you just go into the HUD, there's a font folder, and you just double-click on every font in there to install it. It's a very simple process. And then when you reboot your computer, I think, not just the game, you have to reboot the computer for it to notice, then everything's just there. I mean, we got the nice, actual, proper TF2 font and TF2 look of things. I'm also, in this video, playing with the sharpness filter, so this is what it looks like without sharpness, and then I have sharpness applied on OBS. I think I have 0.25 right now, and that's not to change how the game looks for me. For me, the game looks normal, but YouTube, when it compresses videos, it makes it like really smooth, like way smoother than it actually looks in your game, and I'm trying to kind of offset that by adding sharpness. And I haven't run that test before, so this is actually kind of a live test of that. Right, so this is with sharpness applied, and then if I disable it for all of 5 seconds, right, this is no sharpness. This is how YouTube naturally kind of makes it look. And then this is with, like, debatably too much sharpness. Like, when I'm looking at this, it looks a little off, it looks a little odd. But I've heard online that that's something you're supposed to do to kind of offset what YouTube will do to your videos otherwise. So this whole video is going to be played with sharpness enabled. You can see when I fire rockets, they have like a more natural-looking rocket into a cartoon explosion. That's kind of the main point of combining all the different packs. And then if I go equip, you know, some odd stuff, I equip the cow mangler and the bison, because it's just stuff everyone runs with on the day-by-day. You can see it has a different explosion effect at the end of it all. And the bison just looks sick when it fires. I mean, that's just a really cool look on things. So for any bison enjoyers, this is kind of a must, I feel, to have those nice particles there. This weird offset just happens. There's not much I can do about it. But yeah, on heavy though, and any character with a gun, you could see these nice cartoon effects. It just looks really clean. Looks like kind of how you want it to, right? Looks amazing. At least how I want it to. That's how I like my game looking. All different animations, all different classes, looking super sick, super clean. One of my favorites actually being on Soldier with the Market Gardener. If you inspect, they changed the inspect animations too. He like hits his head. I don't think he does that naturally. Maybe he does that normally and I'm just unaware. Because I didn't really inspect weapons too much back when I did more of that. But yeah, you can see we have the cartoon pack flames, which look really clean. But then the muzzles from... Sorry, I guess both are from the cartoon pack when it comes to flames and the muzzle flashes, but it's just with this. Yeah. We got our realistic-ish rockets being fired into the cartoon explosion. It just looks the nicest to me personally. I know it's odd that maybe to some people, but for me it looks closer to kind of how I imagine the game should. Right, when I looked at the trailer and I kind of cross-referenced, those trails actually look better than the cartoon trails. It's like I laughed at me because I whiffed rockets on a sniper. If I break that building there, you can see that sap effect right there. That's how the sap also looks if I just played Spy. But it's a lot of good looks all around. I mean, just looking at the game like this, it's sometimes even hard to tell that there are particle effects, which is a good thing, but when you notice them, they're nice. I mean, the main one by far is whenever I see a heavy going around just shooting like this, it just looks cool, and because of my custom HUD, I fix sound, fix invisible players, those are bugs that come up sometimes, and then also, fix the shield, which you actually toggle VR mode to do that, which looks really good on heavy. Like when you're just going around moving like this, it just feels super nice and super kind of real. And you swap to like a melee weapon, and that looks really cool as well. If you're actually in VR mode, that's even better. Yeah, throwing sandwich, everything just looks nicer with VR mode, but the idea for it is if you're on Demo Man and your shield's not showing up with the weapon that it should. Alright, so if I go... what weapon actually makes the shield show up? I think the bottle, you're supposed to see it. Maybe I'm tripping on that. Maybe I just need a different shield equip. I mean, that's the easier solution. Shield, and let's go half set to a G, I guess. There we go. That's one where I know. Right, so you can see the shield right now, but a lot of the time if you play a lot of Demo Night, this shield just loves to randomly float off in the distance, and to fix that, you toggle VR mode. First off, you could just play like this if you want to, but I wouldn't really want to. And then you toggle it back on, and your shield will actually come back, which is a really cool thing to have. Plus, just a VR toggle in general, which is pretty neat to have, in my opinion. But yeah, that's kind of that. Right on this select screen, you can spin the guys around by left-clicking. Even actually, this is a pretty unique feature. There's only like one other HUD I'm aware of that does this. But you can even, when you hold tab, spin the little guy down to here, which is pretty fun. Also, when you swap to other players, well, it's tweaking right now, but normally when you click on other players, you can see their guy, and then you can spin them around, and that's actually kind of neat. You can almost inspect players on your team. Obviously, you can see all their stats and stuff, and then because of my config, autoexec file. I can right-click people to go view their profiles or mute them or whatever, which is a super nice shortcut instead of having to go out to this menu, which still exists, by the way. The usual mute menu, you know, request coach, call vote, everything that's normally there is still there somewhere. And I tried to keep it where it kind of makes sense to keep. The exception being these 4 added buttons, a demo UI button for the comp players, because they need that. And I play comp sometimes, so I need that. And then if you look in the top right, there's some kill icons you should see there that you don't see normally. I'm sure you already saw the load screen. You could see captions in the bottom left. That took me forever to do, and then Valve broke it, and then I fixed it. So that's currently working, but with every random patch, Valve loves to break captions. It's their favorite thing. They hate accessibility features. I think they didn't even realize they broke captions, or now that they have, it's like such a low priority item with how many other random bugs and things they keep adding to the game. Like a lot of the UI things that are massive, like when I right-click a player and this giant thing comes up, this used to be half the size. And that's something they broke. The medals on a lot of stuff, including like the stock cut for a little bit for me. The medals next to people's names, like, you know, these like red and silver medals and stuff. That stuff used to be like triple the size, but someone showed me a fix for that for my HUD, so that's fixed in my HUD, which is pretty cool. But yeah, it's a pretty nice, it's still TF2 at the end of the day. This still looks like TF2 to the uninformed or people that don't really look super hard at what they're watching. But it's just a nicer looking version with nicer particles, you know, nicer damage indicators, just niceness all around. Right when you're on medic, there's a lot of nice bars. All the bars are in the middle, so they're nice and easy to see. A lot of them are renamed so that they actually like make sense, you know, when you're looking at them. And it's just everything's nice, right? If someone speaks in voice chat, hello. You could see, right, I made the speaking stuff bigger. And you can see their profile icons easier. When they're dead, the skull next to them speaking in voice chat is more visible. It's just like double the size of voice chat, because it was kind of hard to see sometimes normally. I also have some commands in my config that when people speak, it actually kind of lowers the game volume a tiny bit, just to make them a little bit easier to see. I don't know how I got here. That's one of life's many mysteries. How I just got there and got out without anyone really giving a shit. Where is my team? This is like just deep in enemy territory. But also when I heal people, like look at that. That little like blue circle and then like a little thing over their head. Makes it easier to see who you're healing, plus the medi beam is more consistent in tracking them. Right, you can see it's always pointing directly to them. I think it just has more particle effects, so it's easier to work with. And it's just nice on the whole. I mean, you can see your Uber charged at center. You can see all the info about the player right here. It doesn't move around with the player. It just stays in the middle of your screen. So you can just see, oh, my NG's 189 health at all times, right? You can still see other people when you look at them, right? That minigun still... Minigun. Mini sentry's still in the same place. Chat's up in the top left, so it's out of the way, but still, if you want to read it, you can read it, right? But if you don't want to read it, which most of the time people aren't super focused on, then there's that. And part of the reason that all the other particle effects are disabled is because now when I'm healing this guy, the effects on that aren't super crazy, and if I had popped the Uber instead of just sitting there talking too much, you would have actually seen the quick fix Uber is the stock. It looks like how Valve makes it look, which is nice. The only thing that I wasn't able to fix that I kind of want to is when you're spectating medics, their medi beams are just kind of gone. I don't know why. I'm not sure how I could fix that super easily. But yeah. What are you doing, man? Where's this guy coming from? Why is there a heavy up there with random crits? What is going on, man? This shit is insane. But yeah, that's enough yapping about all that. I mean, everything just looks and feels good, and I'm just playing the game normally now for the rest of this round. So if you just came here to kind of see what was different, what was up, or have me talk about that specifically, the talking about what's different is done. At this point, it's all showing, not telling. And yeah. That's really all there was for that. You can see there's actually a little bit of a particle effect when Scout double jumps, and that's actually normally there. Just a slightly altered version of it. There's also a cooler show when other people rocket jump, but I can't show that off because other people need to rocket jump. It's not like when I rocket jump. It's when Timmy over... Does this guy just get random crits whenever I'm on screen? That's crazy, man. Hey, where is he getting all these random crits from? It's a little ridiculous. But yeah, no, every bug or every inconsistency I could fix, I did. Anything where I thought I could make it kind of look nice or whatever, I did. I mean, the HUD that I have is a combination of a lot of other HUDs, plus a little bit of custom stuff that I messed with, right? Like the voice chat thing down here, I think I took that generally from Print HUD, but I even customized it further. They had their kind of own way, you know, their own styling to it and all that, and I messed with it beyond that. Most of the HUD that you're seeing, right, most of the stuff everywhere else is middleman HUD from Vexinot. Every one of these like HUD developers is very open to using their stuff, but for the bigger stuff, I asked the people, yeah, more specifically, like, hey, is it cool if I use your stuff? And sometimes they even helps implement it. For middleman HUD, that was actually what I started with. I started with middleman HUD and kind of worked out from there and edited it from there. And most of it's from Vexinot's middleman HUD, but you can see, for example, when I press tab, this is DAR HUD. The stuff down here in the middle is actually all customized and changed from DAR HUD, I believe. I spent some real time with, what's his name, Techno. You guys know who that is, he's big in the HUD scene. But yeah, I spent some real time with him getting all that working, getting this here working. At the top of the screen, I think that's from Bud HUD. I might be wrong on that, but I believe that's where that's from. The custom, obviously, kill icons and stuff are from a guy named Lennyface, who I openly said, like, hey, can I use that stuff? He said, sure. The loading screen custom thing is also from Vexinot, same guy behind Middleman HUD, that's why it flows so naturally. Another really cool thing is when I hit the item screen here, these high quality portraits right here are from Lion HUD, from, I think, Joffrey Problem, if I'm saying that name correctly. And that one's really cool because I didn't have to figure out how to implement that myself. I asked the guy if I could use it, and he literally came over and gave me all of the code to just do it. Like, I didn't have to do anything, he did it for me, so I really appreciate that guy for doing that. Most of the other stuff, people said I can use it, and then I kind of had to pull the files and delete stuff I didn't need and whatnot, but he just came over and just straight up, like, it was like 2 in the morning when I asked him, and he instantly was like, yeah, sure. and kind of changed it all up for me, which I really do appreciate that. And just a lot of this has been kind of configured. It's like a mix and match of a lot of the HUDs and a lot of stuff I've liked. And outside of the stuff from Print HUD, because that was just figuring out what properties to change, and I changed those properties myself, I just appreciate Print HUD because it's the only one I'm aware of where they even changed those values for voice chat, and then how that looks. I just looked at that HUD, I looked at the files, what values they were changing, so that I knew what to change. Whereas everything else I mentioned, it was like I always asked the guy specifically, they told me, either they straight up like changed the files like Joffrey Problem did for me, or they told me kind of where to look and what files to change or what properties to change, or like, you know, for example, I would implement something like the DAR HUD stuff here, and I didn't ask Darsatim about that specifically. I have talked to that guy before, and he's really cool as well. I mean, most of the people in the HUD scene are great, just like any random small community. But I talked to Darsatim about some other stuff. I think he actually helped me get captions running initially. Like, I actually helped him, I think, make his HUD have better caption support, if I remember correctly. I don't know if he actually ever ended up officially adding it to the real HUD, or if it's just something I talked to him about in Discord to get work on my own version of DAR HUD back in the day. But I think he actually added it officially to his HUD, because I spent some time with him. It was a back and forth where I kind of told him, like, you know, is there caption support? Doesn't seem to work in your HUD. And he was like, oh no, I never thought about it. And then he sat down and thought about it and kind of figured that all out. His captions, I like almost never look at, but it's just nice to have on the screen. I mean, it's just bonus information. It's in the bottom left corner for a reason, so that's not super distracting, and that it's just largely out of the way. But if you ever, you know, if you're a person that needs that type of stuff, it's there for you. Especially if you're like watching a YouTube video. Instead of having to kind of guess what's going on there on top of the YouTube captions and stuff, you now have a dedicated, you know, thing for at least the vital info. To be fair, it's not everything. I actually worked really, above anything else, the thing that took about half of my time was the captions. I spent a solid, like, 2 months, I'd say probably about 20, 30 hours getting my custom captions working the way I want them, right? With the proper outline, with the proper positioning, the right size, and I even wrote all those captions by hand, right? I used to have some of them italicized and stuff, and then Valve broke all that, so then I had to make them all bold, but I also wanted to color them all differently, and I have some of them with multiple colors, like when you say someone is a spy. Right, so when you just say spy around here, I colored it gray because the spy's color is gray, and then when I say spy is medic, you can see spy, the as was the same color as the soldier, and then medic was the color of the class. So if you look at these captions often, you could see, right? Soldier's green, spy is gray, medic's that other green. Obviously, I could have maybe chosen better colors for colorblind people or whatever, but it is what it is, man. At the end of the day, they are just captions. You can see that Uber mod that I have right there. I think it just looks super sick, a lot more visually kind of there. And it's not like it removes the original Uber effect. If you look at their heads and the weapons and stuff, it actually still has that original Uber look to it. The Uber is just kind of mainly changing the body of whoever's Ubered, which I really do appreciate for visibility. It's a lot more visually nice for him. You can see right there when that guy was speaking, the skull's there. But yeah, that's enough kind of talking about all that different stuff. I mean, that's most of what's changed. There's a lot of smaller stuff. I've been working on this now, I think, for 8 to 9 months, right? Getting all the mods in place, all the custom animations, all the custom particle effects, a mod loader and everything like that. It's been a long time making this all work because I just wanted to do this once and be done with it. I've played TF2 now for over 10 years. Not too much more. I think I'm at 11 or 12 years of playing this game. But I played it for long enough where I know I'm going to kind of play this for my whole life. So I'm willing to put in all this time to make really the best set of mods possible for me. I'll have a video in the description of how I install all these mods, how I set them all up, where I download them from, whatnot. But for the people that know how to do all that stuff, I'll just have all the mods that I use in this video and showed off here, and that I'm using on the day-by-day at the moment, linked in the description, because I'm sure that'll change over time. People keep making new cool mods and, you know, new cool discoveries about this game all the time, so I'm sure there'll be more mods I use in the future, or maybe mods I'm not aware of, or minor stuff, right? For example, one of the mods I have is a control point lighting fix, where if you look really, really closely on King of the Hill or 5CP, there's actually some inconsistencies with how the lighting is done, and it's literally a mod to change the lighting by, like, you know, it's like the difference between looking at this pixel right here and this pixel right here, like where my crosshair's looking. There's a difference there. I can barely see it, but when you see it side by side, it's really obvious, and I just love having small fixes like that. They're just amazing, and it's really cool that you can just do that. I guess I should show off the triple barrel lock and load before I hop off, so let me just go over to demo here. You can actually see when other people use the lock and load, right? This is the triple barrel lock and load. Looks really clean, really cool, and it's because the lock and load has 3 bullets in the clip. So when you have 3 bullets in the clip, you actually want to make sense. You can see this guy, when he rocket jumped, you look at his feet. That's the rocket jump shell I was talking about. But yeah, this is the triple barrel lock and load because it's got 3 in the clip. So when you fire 3, you want it to actually rotate 3 times and not fire out the same thing repeatedly twice. It's just very odd that they changed the clip size of this thing ever to begin with, and that the model like just doesn't reflect it anymore. I don't know, I guess you could make it 3 tall instead of 3 round, but then it would look inconsistent with the other grenade launchers. So whoever made this mod, I don't even remember who made this, but it's linked in the description. Whoever made this mod made the executive decision to make it look closer to the other stuff, and I think that looks way better personally. But yeah, that's genuinely everything. That's all the yapping you're going to be hearing for this video. You can go watch any number of my other videos if you want to hear me yap more, but it won't be about the mods that I'm using in TF2. And with that being said, hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully you definitely found this useful. It took me, like I said, several months of working on this stuff to even find some of these mods, to make sure they work together, and kind of things like that to get this all up and running. But now that it is, I'm really, really happy with the end result. And this is supposed to be how I play the game 99% of the time. The remaining 1% of the times when I'm playing competitive TF2. And whenever I'm doing that, I think they allow custom animations, but they don't allow custom particle effects. And there's a good reason why. The particle effects I'm using are pretty normal, right? They don't give you like any real competitive advantage, other than maybe debatably the medic one. But you can do some really nasty stuff with sticky bombs and stuff like that, and almost basically have like, not really wall hacks, but closer to like ESP, which I don't really like that that's available, and that's why I think Valve is a bit iffy on them in general. But they do let you use them. You're allowed to mod the game however you want in your own private service and stuff. This just gets it all kind of up and running in casual. It's not very cheatsy, it's just more like custom and nice looking. Kind of like the custom HUDs, which you can openly use in casual, and are openly supported by Valve for years, right? They have a whole kind of thing for that. But yeah, right? It's just cool. It's cool you can do this stuff, right? People have been using custom animations for years in casual. You can look for the What Show, I think. He's the guy that made one of the original guides on how to get custom animations working casual. If you look at his videos, I think he still uses a bunch of custom animations to this day. And I now have my own, and I have custom particle effects as someone found out how to do that. And just everything looking nice, feeling nice, and being nice overall. On the real though, I'm actually going to end the video now though. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you around in the next one. Have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.